I am sitting at the Calgary airport and I'm now waiting for my flight, but that does mean that I had to check in, of course, and go through the security check. So I want to talk a little bit about the check-in and then the security check. I checked in online and I'm still thinking, why am I doing that? Because when I went to check in my baggage, this time around I had to remove the laptop from my checked-in baggage and put it on my carry-on. And I didn't have to do that when I was in Toronto. I didn't have to do that when I was in Seattle. So, who knows? Anyways, so then I got through, the lineup for the security check. And of course, I had to remove my jacket, and I had to remove my laptop and my tablet and my phone and put that in one container, and then the phone, the jacket and the bag and everything else was in the other container. And so that bag, my green pack sack, got through the process fairly quickly. When in Toronto, it had to be double checked. It had to be checked again. I think because I had rolls of coins in it, and so that caused a delay. But this time in Calgary airport, it didn't cause a delay. But what did cause a delay, not so much on my part, but my laptop and tablet had to be checked even further. But in front of me were individuals that had a lot of containers that couldn't go with them, should have been on their checked-in baggage, but it wasn't. It was in their carry-on bag. And those poor people probably either didn't know or assumed that those products would be okay, like deodorant and the containers that were larger than 100 millimeters. Some were perfumes, all sorts of different types of containers that should have been put in clear bags, but we don't always know these things ahead of time. So that caused a huge delay, because there was a whole family, and they each had two fairly big carry-on bags that had a lot of, those cosmetic kind of products. And then of course, eventually it was my laptop and tablet. And I'm thinking, what was the problem? Because, in Toronto and Seattle, that wasn't an issue at all. And so this time, they had to kind of, do a little scan on the laptop. I don't know why, but... So, bottom line is that when you fly, whichever airport you're at, yes, there are rules, of course, and those rules are followed. But there are certain rules that there's certain processes that you really don't know. And if you're a first-time flyer, you assume that all the processes are the same. And even if you're a frequent flyer, the processes are going to be very different. So know that ahead of time, right? And be patient. Be patient. Oh man, this makes me wonder that a 1-week vacation, when you spend a day and a half doing the check-in and the waiting and the check-in and the waiting and the security check and the customs and all that stuff, a 1-week vacation, forget it, man. It's got to be longer than a week, because this day and a half of transfers and waiting and getting the check-ins and all that stuff is a waste of time. So you got to make sure your vacation is much longer than a 1-week vacation.